we're going back to Derek Carr, Denny.
Yeah.
Derek Carr, I remember whenever we first started streaming him a couple weeks ago, I mentioned like he has a really good stretch of games, and this is yet another game where he could perform. They get Chicago this week. He's been fine in plus matchups. He's actually only faced 3 teams this season that have ranked in the top half in terms of being a favorable matchup for quarterbacks and adjusted fantasy points allowed. They've happened the last 3 weeks. He's scored 17.3, 17.4, and 18.3 fantasy points. He's actually come through when matchups have been favorable. Chicago's playing a little bit better defensively, I guess. They kind of got tore up last week against Justin Herbert, but they're still a top 10 matchup for quarterbacks and adjusted points allowed. The Saints this week, Denny, a 24.25 implied team total according to FanDuel Sportsbook. That's top 5 across the league. So I think Derek Carr is just a really solid play this week amongst a position that is just dying. I mean, quarterback, like I had Will Levis as a 15 transactions ad this week.
I heard, yeah.
And I only said that because the position's just gotten so brutal. You might as well just throw that dart. I don't think that he's really a play. Like you can't really like confidently trust him over a player like Carr this week per se. But yeah, I mean, that's just the state of the quarterback position right now.
Yeah. Like someone who's upright and able to throw the ball.
Yeah. And breathing oxygen. Yeah.
By the way, Derek Carr without Taysom Hill would actually have a ceiling, but unfortunately Taysom Hill, listen, the Saints are dead set. I've watched the film. I've looked at the stats. The Saints are dead set on increasing Taysom's package in the red zone. We're going to see a larger package as the weeks go on. All right. I have Gardner Minshew against Carolina. PFF grades the Panthers coverage unit as the 6th worst in the entire league. Carolina is a pretty good matchup just overall, offensively, defensively, however you want to say it. Carolina is allowing 3.8 red zone possessions per game. That's the 4th highest rate in the league. Also, this game might have some kind of sneaky fantasy upside. Indianapolis and Carolina are both top 6 in offensive snaps per game. So we could maybe see a back and forth type thing where both teams log a lot of snaps. And, look, Minshew leads the league in turnover worthy plays over the past 3 weeks, like by a long shot. But so you know what you're getting. Like you're getting a volatile play, a guy who will make like the most ridiculously dangerous throws ever. Did you see his throw to Ogletree last week in the back of the end zone?
Yeah.
Okay, like there are like maybe like 4 quarterbacks in the league who would attempt that throw.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And Minshew's one of them, even though Minshew doesn't have a great arm. Okay. Like but he still just lets it fly. So you know what you're getting. A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Yeah. I don't have the stat in front of me. Okay. I tried to put my mustache back on. It's not happening. I don't have the stat in front of me, but I'm pretty sure there's something absurd when it comes to overs hitting in Indianapolis Colts games this year. They've hit at a really absurd rate, basically. Right. And so it's another reason to kind of aim for Colts games in general is because, the market's going to say one thing, but they've generally outperformed that expectation. I'm going to go to Baker Mayfield. I think Derek Carr, probably Gardner Minshew are better options than Mayfield this week. This is probably not the best game environment against Houston, but Houston is the 12th best matchup for quarterbacks. I do also think that we have to worry a little. There's some really weird touchdown regression stuff happening across the league with some teams. Like the Buccaneers have scored 11 offensive touchdowns this year. 10 of the 11 have come through the air. Denver, I think, has 17. This is off the top of my head, so I could be wrong. 17 offensive touchdowns. Only 1 of them have come on the ground. Minnesota, same deal. They just have more. They scored their first rushing touchdown last week, but they have just more touchdowns than even Denver scored. So there is going to be some regression coming for Baker. And so I am a little bit concerned about that. I'd rather go Carr, probably rather go Minshew than Baker this week. But I still think Mayfield could be, in that QB2 range.